Hello and welcome to this very special interview. We're here in the state of Osun to talk to Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, the executive governor of the state of Osun, and he will tell us about his dreams for the state and what actually motivated him to wanting to become the governor of this great state, and how he has fared so far, thinking of the fact that he is actually coming to the end of his tenure as governor, having been voted in twice by the people of the state. So you're most welcome on this program. Sir, would you like to tell us what motivated you into wanting to become the governor of this great state?
People and their very, very poor and miserable living condition was the motivation for wanting to be the governor of the state. I was piqued by the low level of development, human and physical development of the state, to the extent that I felt being in Lagos will not really give meaning to my life. Should I ignore the pitiable state of this state at that time? So I felt there was the need to be part of the process to turn around the fortune of the people and the physical condition of the space.
Thank you. We heard, sir, about the hue and cry about the fact that you are commissioner in Lagos State, and that that motivated some people to begin to say at that time that you are a foreigner and that as such you shouldn't be allowed to contest for the position of governor in the state of Osun, then known as Osun State. Would you like to walk us through this experience, most especially the reason why people in the state of Osun had this idea of wanting to put a stumbling block in your way of becoming the governor at that time?
Well, let's correct something. It was not Osun people, the threatened clique, who felt that they had had the state in their hand and would not want anybody who obviously they knew had a better orientation, had a better approach to issue of governance to come around. So they whipped up the sentiment of what do they call it? Local, not indigenship. You should be careful. I'm an indigent by any characteristics of that word, so don't use the word indigenship. Local residents as an issue. Let's be liberal about this and intellectual slightly. Is there any Yoruba man that is absolutely situated in where it's manifesting now? No. The panegyric of Yoruba is such that if you are indeed a Yoruba person, your oriki will link you to not less than 4 different Yoruba locations in the space that is called Oodua territory. So how do you therefore discriminate about anyone who is a Yoruba man when you know that a trace, an historical trace of your root from either the mother or the father will definitely take you out of where you are now? But besides that, the fact is I do not allow tantrums of any partisan of a cause I am interested in to distract or disturb me. I am a focused principled and highly resilient person. So I do not allow the noise of the market to sway or distract me. So I was not in any way bothered about it at all. Having decided on what was necessary to uplift the environment and the living condition of the people, I set my eyes on the ball and I never took it off.
Okay, sir. You had something that was quite different from what most governors in Nigeria that we are aware of had when they were coming to office. You brought a document called the Green Book into the office. I mean, it looked like a manifesto to us. And so what went into preparing this Green Book? That is, if one looks at that document, one would know that you have had time to do your homework properly. So tell us about what went into the making of the Green Book and what does it stand for and how has it helped in the governance of the state of Osun?
First of all, let's try to do a reflection of circumstances surrounding my aspiration to govern the state. I was arguably the commissioner with the biggest budget in Lagos. One single project at that time that I handled was of about 15 billion naira. That was the biggest budget. I mean, that was the biggest project, no budget I handled. It was the development of Central Lagos. So coming from that, and I'm not even sure whether the totality of Osun budget itself was up to that then. But that was what I decided to abandon. Because the project was still even on, that project was still even on by the time I began the aspiration to be here. So it was clear to me that the ambition or the aspiration was not even a strictly Osun aspiration. It was a pan-Yoruba aspiration. It was clear to us that the effort we were making in Lagos will only be meaningful if the adjoining Yoruba states are equally uplifted and transformed to a state in which, one, citizens in those states will only visit Lagos for temporary leisure and recreation, not to relocate. And that non-Yoruba who might want to migrate to Lagos will drop off in any of the other states as they see reasonable development. So that Green Book is titled My Pact with the People, was a condensation of our thoughts on what ought to be in the other Yoruba states, Osun as a case study. So that was it was turned to our handbook, and if you look at the first page of that document, we went back to the 1886 armistice agreed upon at the end of the Kiriji War, in which Yoruba leaders at that time resolved that never would they fight among themselves again, because peace, security, and development should be the watchword and primary objective of all Yoruba leaders. So, bringing that to the fore and believing that should be the major preoccupation of successive leaders in Yoruba land, it was very, very easy to develop programs around the primary objectives of those partisans who, after 16 years of civil war within Yoruba land, decided to bury the hatchet and promote the development of the land. So if if you recall, the pact is on six primary pillars: banish hunger, banish poverty, banish unemployment, promote functional education, healthy living, communal peace, and development. And if human development is now the central focus of whoever is talking about Nigeria, then you will know how relevant those 6 integral action plans or programs are indeed.
If you are just joining us on this program, it's a tete-a-tete with the Action Governor of the State of Osun, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. Mr. Governor, sir, we've been traveling in this state in the last 1 week. We've been to a lot of places like Ife, Gbongan, Ilarogun, Ikirun, Iwo, Ilesha, and Ikire, and a couple of other places, and we've seen what you have put down during your tenure as governor in terms of infrastructural development on roads, in schools, and what have you. And we've been asking people questions about these activities of your government. We have also heard from some members of the opposition who think that the motive for creating some of the infrastructure in the state, is dubious. So would you like to tell us what exactly was the reason you are doing this? Is it really to educate the children of the state of Osun? Because what we've seen is really mind-boggling. I have traveled in Nigeria, and I must tell you, in one fell swoop, there has been nothing comparable to this by any government. How did you do it?
You see, democracy encourages opposition, but opposition must be constructive, must not be destructive. We have an opposition in the main that is anti-people and very, very destructive. I will answer straight the issue you raised by simply giving you raw statistics that I didn't even prepare for. The matriculable percentage of students put forward for national examination before our advent was 15% in the highest ever rate of pass. That is, students with 5 credits, including English and mathematics, that could enter any higher institution post-secondary school based on WAEC examination. For the 7.5 years that the administration we succeeded was there, was 15%. The least performance of students in WAEC examination, the least during our own administration, is 18%. The least. And that year, it was in 2014, that was when we were challenged with funding. And teachers went on strike for almost 3/4 of the academic session. So, but for the availability of appointment of knowledge, I'm not even sure whether we would have succeeded in having that 18%. Sad as it is, but it was 18%. We have been progressing since the time we took from the last administration. Our last performance in terms of percentage of students presented and those who could go to university was 46%. So if our worst performance is more than their best performance in terms of percentage of students that could go to university that are matriculable, if our worst was higher than their best, at their best. If we are steadily rising and we are now at 46%, as unacceptable as even that performance is to us, we are incomparable to them. That is on that. Now to talk about their totally ill-informed opposition. We are Yorubas, so we are rich in idiom. One of our common idiom is that the masquerade undresses itself one step after the other. That's Yoruba idiom. Whoever attempts to take the two legs off the eku will fall. Yakata. We fall so badly. The Yakata means so badly. We're not able to get up again. By break his leg. So you can't do all at the same time with limited resources. And we must thank at this juncture our workers for their cooperation and understanding. You must when your resource is inadequate, you must sacrifice one for the other. Okay, we are rounding up the high schools now. 11 of them. These 11 high schools that are state of the art anyway, by any standard you want to use. Capacity for students, the quality of the structure, and the facilities they are in, they are world class. Each of them will have capacity for 3,000 students at the high school level, grades 10 to 12, each of them. So we are almost concluding facilities that will guarantee 11,000 world-class graduates of high school every year. If you leave it at percentage alone, you might not even be telling the whole story. Percentage will not tell you the number of students. We only simply say number of those with 5 credits, including mathematics and English, over those that are presented. That's percentage. But when you sum up number of students that wrote WAEC in the years they were here, sum them up, they are less than 50% of all the people we have pushed through. In spite of the fact that our performance in percentage is incomparable with their own, even in the worst form. However, we are saying that every year, going forward from now, 11,000 students will be coming out of the best schools that anybody could attend anywhere in Sub-Saharan Africa, not just only in Nigeria, public or private. So how best do you measure government relevance and performance? So there is no issue. If you are not ready to stand the heat, don't go to the kitchen. Let the minority have their say. We, the majority, with the people and God, will have our way.
Thank you very much, sir. What you have said has actually given us an insight into what is happening in the senior high school. But we want you to tell us a bit, sir, about the other arms of the schools. I'm talking about the elementary and the middle school. What has changed?
To date, we have built 1,063 classrooms. New, state of the art, beautiful. No private primary or elementary school can compete with the ones we built today in Osun. No. And everybody knows it. Yes, we are challenged with the human factor, soft factor, as we call it. We have solved the issue of hard factor. So we are working hard on retooling the human factor. It's not totally solved, but we are solving it. We have affected sub or pre-varsity education to a large extent. I mentioned 1,063 classrooms built, accommodating 192,000 pupils, with all provisions made. Not just classrooms, desk, benches, studying aids, learning aids, and whatever. And it's about the elementary and middle. I forgot to tell you that things that set us apart are many. We have reclassified schools here. You do not have primary, junior, secondary. You have elementary, middle, and high. Elementary grades 1 to 4, middle grades 5 to 9, high grade 10 to 12. So if you meet an Osun pre-varsity student, he will not tell you he's in primary 1. He will say, I'm in grade 1. He doesn't even know whether there's, they don't even know anything about primary school anymore. Even me, the person who introduced the system with the support of others, I'm still analog. So there was a day I met a boy and I said, what's your class? I said, I'm in grade 2. So I quickly had to remind myself, yeah, the guy is right, it's the grade. So we have done things there. Regardless of what the naysayers say, things have happened there. We thank God for the ability and the grace to do those things, but indeed things have happened there. And you ask the body, is it not unusual for a government to say that we have to unify the uniforms? We have to unify the uniforms. Nobody gave it a thought that when we were in school, when I was in school, there were very few public that is government-run primary schools. We had grant-aided schools, community schools, but not strictly government. There was only one government college in the whole of Western region, Government College Ibadan, and Queen's College, Ede, and later Ibadan. So outside those schools, there were no government schools. So the idea of government, therefore, having a uniform for their students could not have arisen. But a critical study of the local authority schools in Western region will tell you that everywhere we had a local authority school in Western region, pupils in those primary schools wore the same uniform, region-wide. It was a deep blue over a brown khaki. And we said, if the reason for different uniform is ownership, and government are taking over all schools since 1974, a decree was issued in 1975 to formalize it completely. So why must we therefore not introduce our own uniform for pupils in our schools, just as it was originally? Because ownership was the basis of different uniform. So we threw it open. It was an open competition that produced the set of uniforms for elementary school pupils, middle school pupils, and high school students. And besides the economics, because the fact that we have Omoluabi garment industry has helped in providing job for our high unemployed youth, as well as involve the community, because the uniforms are sold by the textile dealers directly to parents and the students. And those are the things, very many more, but those are the things I could bring up to tell you that some things happen here that make us totally different from others who had passed through this sort of position, either here or elsewhere. And we thank God for His mercy and grace.
If you are just joining us on this program, it's a tete-a-tete with the Action Governor of the State of Osun, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, who is answering questions on his tenure as governor of that great state. And we will take a break now. And when we return, we will answer some more questions.
Since this space was created, nobody had intervened on bridges as we have done. From Europeans, from the British to now, no government had built as many bridges at a single time as we have built. And I think whoever is really committed to societal peace will be concerned about the high number of unemployed youth. No government had ever attempted to do road work, not once, consistently with the people as we have done. In several other areas, we are simply unbeatable, particularly in human development.
Your Excellency, you said you did not perform at your optimum in certain areas. Would one of those areas be the issue of salary payment to the workers in the state of Osun?